Here it comes. Here it comes. And we are live, my brother.
Cool.
How are you today, Michael? In New Jersey, not Colorado, not Hawaii, not New York City. I've messed that up every time we've spoken. From New Jersey, I'm coming to you live from Atlanta. How are you today, my brother?
I'm good. Woke up good. Got up at 6:30. It's the first of the month, so this is like the tough week for me. So my morning routine kind of gets put aside because I have to get all my blog posts up and my newsletters up and running, that whole apparatus. And I know it's a lot of work. And I had to get all the podcast posting up and social media organized for the month. So the first week of the month is always early mornings, late nights, but I get it all done the first week so I can kind of live consciously the rest of the month.
And living consciously is our topic. I don't think people, we put a lot of work into our content, our social media, our newsletters, everything we put out there. I know you're extremely intentional about what you put out there, and I am too. And we work very hard at the content and writing. So it's good to see a fellow person that has to rock all that out at one time, brother. So let's get this party started on conscious living. I think it's an amazing topic right now. For us during this, as we record this, we're right in the heat of coronavirus, COVID-19. It's interesting. Our two states are choosing two very different paths. We were one of the states that closed last and opened last week. Although they've allowed businesses to open, I would say 75 to 80% have not. They're still waiting till more data comes out. But you're in New Jersey where it's on lockdown to at least June. So tell me, Michael, what does conscious living mean to you, brother?
Well, how do I answer this in the current circumstances that we're living in right now? This is an opportunity to look at yourself and ask yourself, how am I supposed to live my life based on the current external circumstances that surround me? And when we identify with our external environment, that always is going to lead to some sort of suffering because the external world is always changing. Look how fast our world changed from January, February to May. The world changed overnight. Conscious living is realizing that we are not the mind, we're not the body. We are something divine, an internal spark of the soul. And to realize that what we do externally does not define who we are. It's how we live our lives internally. It means we show up in the world, we're productive, we provide value to the world around us, we have jobs, we don't live out in caves as monks, but we aren't defined by what we do. We're defined by how we show up each day. And that's the essence of conscious living.
It's amazing. My teammate just pointed out something to me earlier today. We put an intention out earlier this year, my wife and I, and I'm going to read it to you. The reason I'm looking left is it's right next to me. And the intention was this: good health, peace of mind, and perseverance with joy. Okay. Good health, peace of mind, and perseverance with joy. It's just an interesting thing that we wrote on January 1, not knowing we're going into a coronavirus year, right? And so right now, what would you recommend, Michael? I think people are struggling right now with mindset, mental toughness. I think there's a fear and underlying worry. I think we feel a lack of control. Although you and I both know we're never in control of anything but our thoughts. But I feel like there's a sense of lack of control. I think there's also a fear of reintegration, right? What does the world look like when we come back? Are we going to be safe? Are we going to be able to hug again? Are we going to be able to go to events or concerts? And what does that, so what are some ways right now that we can help the audience with conscious living? How can we help them with peace of mind, with presence, with conquering some of those fears they have, and with innovating for the future? And how do we show up and live consciously in what I will call the post-coronavirus era?
Well, that's a lot to unpack. And this is one of the reasons why I love talking to you, because our conversations are never really simple. And if I lived in Georgia, or if you lived up in New Jersey, you and I'd be like hanging out and going for hikes and having a good time. And your wife and my wife would be friends because we're like-minded souls. And let's just put the cards on the table. Nothing's going to be over in 30 days, whether our states open up for business or stay shut down. Nothing's going to go back to the way it was in January. That life that we know is over for the foreseeable future until we have universal testing and a cure. Nothing is going to be the same, because we have to understand the facts. 60,000 people have died from this virus in what, a 2-month period? So that's real numbers. That's more people died in less people died in Vietnam. So we have to kind of think about our lives in a different way. We have to change our mindset from the ideals of success, right? The ideals of success would be, I'm only going to be happy if I get the Lamborghini, and I'm going to celebrate the person who has the Lamborghini. I'm going to celebrate the person who has the mansion, and I'm going to celebrate getting more stuff, making more money. And let's be truthful, most of that is gone. Like, most of that world is gone. The individuals that were celebrating that life and promoting themselves as this is the end all be all of consciousness, where are they today? You don't see them because their message isn't valid. The message has to shift to, how can I show up in this world and make the people and the world a better place? That the new norm and the new way to be financially, economically, and spiritually successful is not to wake up in the morning and say, how can I make more money? It's to say, how can I wake up each day and provide, to make an impact in this world that's better? I have a choice right now. I can be one of those people that is screaming and yelling, saying, it's that person's fault over there, it's my government's fault, it's the leaders. Or I can say, wow, what can I do to help? How can I be a better person? And those people that sit there and wake up each day and say, I'm going to make the world a better place, whether it's in social media, whether it's in iTunes, podcasting, doing what we're doing, those are the people that are going to be successful going forward, because that's what everybody wants now. No one wants to hear any more of this negative talk, this decisiveness and this separation. Because what we have to further realize is, what I do here in my little world in New Jersey affects what you do in Georgia. And what you do in Georgia affects your friend that lives in Colorado. And that person in Colorado affects what goes on halfway around the world. This is a global conscious awakening. And that's what we need to do in order to persevere and thrive. And when we have that mindset, then we wake up every morning with this attitude of, I'm going to get things done, I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to be productive. Because what's the alternative?
I absolutely love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. So many powerful things you just said there.
Thanks, dude.
With so many powerful, and it all starts with a choice. And I think one of the only powers we have in the entire earth is our choices, our mindset, and attitude. And it starts with a choice. Mm-hmm. Do I see the negative, the hate, the division? And there's a lot of that on TV right now. Hate, negativity, division. And by the way, that's what sells, right? That's what sells advertising. So they want us divided. They want us scared. Whoever they are, by the way, I'm not sure who they are. But you said choice. And you could choose to see the goodness, love, and learnings during times like this, and the opportunities to be better. And you said be of service, to be purposeful, to make an impact, and not to be a taker. And something else you said that I thought was so powerful is victimhood. Victimhood is a choice. When you're blaming your situation, your happiness on someone else, the thing that I would recommend is go find the nearest mirror and look in it. And that's the actual issue. And all of us can choose to take small steps every day to improve our lives emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, professionally, financially, whatever it might be. And so I love everything that you said right there. So let's get tactical. If someone's on this or watching this and they're unhappy, or they're scared. And a lot of us are scared. Candidly, you and I are in this business of impact and service and purpose, right? We coach. But that doesn't mean we're immune to fear. It doesn't mean we're immune to screw ups. And we are very human as it gets, right?
Yeah.
Tactically, if someone, let's start with, I'm not happy where I am professionally, and that could be I've lost my job, money is uncertain right now, and I'm scared. What is some tactical things that people could implement in their lives today? Some simple tactics to help them get more peace of mind and start moving forward to participating back in what you've called the new norm.
Well, let's first set the ground rules that the world is not as bad as we think it is. Okay. The world is, you, like 100 years ago, the Spanish flu pandemic, you had to still work. You weren't able to stay in your house. You were not getting government aid for food. You were not getting rent assistance programs. You didn't pay your rent. You were homeless the next day. And if you were sick, you weren't going to a hospital. You were dying in a cot in a tent. So the world's not that bad. We have, let's start with gratitude. Let's start with the fact that we have food, shelter, and technology. Like, so
Most of us
there's
live in a free country. Most of us live in free countries.
most
Not
of us
all,
live in a free
most.
country. And
Yeah.
here's something I read this morning. There are some, I think I read something like 100,000 jobs in Texas right now where they need workers for the technology and the customer service problems that they're facing for this pandemic. So there's so much work out there right now. So if you don't have a job, you need to get up in the morning and you need to figure out some sort of work that you can do. And you don't need to be a college educated, PhD, good with technology to get a job in this current environment. There's tons of work. So that's the first thing you need to do. You need to set the ground rule. The world's not as bad. The second step you have to do is you have to make the choice that you and I always talk about. There's only three things that you can control. It's how you think, how you feel, and how you react. So you can think the world is in this state of the apocalypse, or you can think this world is in a state of a conscious awakening. I choose the latter. Then you can feel fear and despair. I'm not going to deny the fact that there are days when I wake up and I feel like, oh my God, what am I going to do in 6 months if I don't get the things that I'm trying to get done? Or I can wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm going to take each day one day at a time. I'm going to wake up, I'm going to have a purpose, I'm going to get stuff done. So I can choose how to feel. And then I can choose how to act. I can wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to sit around and watch another useless Netflix TV show and binge watch some garbage TV, or I'm going to spend my day figuring out what I want to do in this new economy. There's like, I get it. Like, a lot of people in America don't have $400 to their savings. I understand that. I understand that people went from paycheck to no paycheck and had trouble collecting unemployment for 2 months. But you can still get food and you still can get like your basic necessities met. There's still water coming out of your sink. A lot of people in this world don't have those options. So that's where you start. From there, what do you do in terms of how to find a new job depends on you. So then you have to put into the work of what am I capable of? You might not be able to be good at technology, but I guarantee you, you can answer the phone or respond to emails. You can do some sort of work tomorrow. This might mean you don't make as much money as you're used to. This might mean you would need to downsize your expenses. And this might require a hard look in the mirror of saying, wow, I need to change my lifestyle, my values. But the world is not as bleak as people think it is.
I love all of that, by the way. Again, starts with the power of choice,
Thanks,
being grateful for what you do have, not what you don't have. I think a lot of times, especially on social media, social media can be used for light or darkness, right? And a lot of times people put their best selves on Facebook and Instagram, and we're coaches. I mean, we're putting goodness out there. But there's a lot of light out there too, but it does promote that envy and jealousy and looking what we don't have as opposed to what we do have.
Yeah.
And then there's something else powerful that you said. And here's, if you're stuck right now, or you don't have $400 to your savings to your name, or you're worried about the next check and you're out of a job, now's the time to take action. Take action. look for a job. There's like you said, there's tons and tons and tons of jobs out there, but you have to take action. My favorite saying is you have to choose to participate in your own rescue. It starts with choice, and you have to participate in your own rescue. No one's coming to save you. And so here it is. So I love all of that. How about talk to me a little bit about when I hear the word conscious and conscious living, one of the biggest things that comes to my brain is being where our feet are, being present in this moment, having this amazing conversation, Michael and Tommy, and people will be listening to this for literally from all over the planet eventually. So being in the present moment and conscious living. So many of us are always fearing the future or thinking about the future or planning. Some of us are living in the past, regretting, not forgiving, judging, and wishing we would have done it better. What are some tools and tips for getting people present in the moment on a more regular basis than constant, what I call the Tommy go round, where you're constantly in your head and you're planning, or you're thinking about the past?
Yeah, good question. Let's start with this understanding for everybody that's watching this. Okay, most of us are going to have to change our lifestyles going forward. Most of us are going to have to change our financial lifestyles. We're no longer and then we're going to get into how to be present. Here's a statistic I read a couple of days ago that I was shocked. Do you know car sales are up 300% right now?
No, I did not.
Crazy, right? Because what people are doing, because they're stuck at home and they're collecting unemployment checks, and their unemployment checks are higher than their actual paychecks because of the bill that was passed that extended unemployment benefits and bumped up people's unemployments from like $300-400 to $700 depending on your state to up to $1,000 to $1,200 depending on your state. And what are people doing with that money? Instead of taking that money and going, okay, let me put aside this money and pay 3, 4, 5 months rent up front, or pay 3, 4, 5 months of my mortgage and go and buy some good, healthy, organic food, I'm going out and buying a car that I can't afford, or I'm buying clothes that I don't need, because I am focusing on instant sense gratification because that's easier. Being present is harder. It takes effort and it takes practice. It's not something that you just do and you just say, oh, just focus on the breath and you're present. It's an everyday, constant practice. And it starts with things, that simple basic foundations of breath. Yes, when you're present in the moment, we focus on the breath. When we feel the breath on each inhale through the nose and each exhale, that allows us to be more present. Even now, as I talk about this, my voice is calmer, I'm moving slower. 3 minutes ago, I was moving much more erratic. So we start with the breath. And there's so much information out there that's for free on how to find the breath on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or calm.com. After we find the breath, the next thing we do to stay more present is we need to learn to develop a meditation practice. That is the most important thing to get through in this day and age, especially with everything that's going on out there. The reason why I can get up every morning at 6:30 and get to work and go to bed at 8 o'clock and feel, fulfilled and like work these 12, 13-hour days and not feel exhausted is I meditate every day. Meditation allows me to be present in the moment. But here's the other side effect of meditation. When we meditate more and we get in touch with more of our inner self, we care less about the external. So we care less about the car and the clothes and the house. So those things that we're trying to reach for that we don't need aren't important anymore. The third thing that we need to do after we find our breath and we meditate, and there's tons of meditation apps that teach you how to meditate, it's not complicated, is journaling. That is the most important thing, because like you said in the beginning of this conversation, we have all these thoughts. I think it depends on the article you read or the scientific study. They say between 50,000 and 70,000 thoughts a day. And then depending on the article you read, they say 9 out of 10 thoughts are negative. We all have these negative thoughts. Okay? You wake up in the morning, you turn on the TV, you're going to see an image of something that does not equal who you are and how you see yourself. So you're going to constantly compare and contrast yourself to things that you are lacking, no matter what it is. And so you're going to have negative images constantly being thrown at you, whether even if you don't watch TV, don't go on social media, don't listen to the news, you're still going to constantly get negative images because you're going to walk outside and somebody's going to have something that you want, you don't have. And that's going to create a bunch of negative thoughts on a subconscious level. And the only way to purge those thoughts is to process them through either journaling or talking, and then releasing them. And then the final way to be more present is positive reinforcement through affirmations, podcasts, books, and Facebook Live events like this. And those are the simple tools. It's not complicated. It's just hard.
So good. I would say the 5 things that literally changed my life is I started reading when I say reading, I listen to books. I don't read very many books.
Same.
I started listening to every single self-development, self-improvement, and business book that I could get my hands on. Literally every one I could get. I mean, you can see them behind me. And this is my must-read in life list right there. And so, but you have to apply the knowledge. You know, having the knowledge is one thing. Applying the knowledge is second. The second thing that changed my life was a gratitude practice. Third thing, meditation. Fourth, surrounding myself with positive seekers who were looking to be better. Getting rid of the negative Nellies out of my life, getting people who were constantly judging or criticizing or angry or just weren't doing the work. And the fifth thing, the purge, the absolute purge. And the fifth thing was hire a coach. I hired a life coach. I wanted to be better. I didn't like the career I was in, didn't understand why I was unhappy and unfulfilled. I'm going to give her a shout out. Her name was Nancy Vito. I call her Saint Nancy. She's amazing. If anyone's looking for a life coach that's not us, hire Nancy. And so those are the 5 things that have changed my life. What's one, if you had to pick, and this is so difficult, what's one small action that we could give someone to do that they can go do today? Is it gratitude? Is it meditating? Is it reading? Is it watching something positive on YouTube? Or is it something they need to stop doing? I think you said stop watching what I would call shitty TV. Tiger King. You and I both are going to look like the Tiger King if we keep going during this COVID crisis. Your life would not. Your life is better for that.
But I've been to Bhagavan's Tiger Preserve twice.
No kidding. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Amazing.
I've been there.
So if you were going to recommend to someone who felt stuck, is the one thing, and I know there's a million, the one thing that they could either stop doing or start doing that would improve their life 10x if they just practice this one thing over and over and over again.
How about I do one thing to start and one thing to stop?
Love it. Love it.
The one thing that every person needs to start, besides meditation, besides reading books, besides journaling, which we already talked about, the most important thing that you need to do every day. And I have been laid off before at work, and I have gone through divorce, and I've gone through death. I've gone through many hardships in life. And the one thing that has always gotten me through it is movement of my body, whether it's exercise, running, or hiking in the woods, or yoga, whatever it is, some sort of physical movement every day is vital. And ideally in the morning. Now, you don't have to be a saint about it. You don't have to be perfect. Like, you can skip days. I'm a yoga teacher. I didn't practice yoga today because I'm doing all my yoga classes online. And today I don't have to practice because I don't have to teach virtually. So I'm not practicing yoga today. I'm resting my physical body. But some sort of physical activity is so important. It has so many benefits. It raises your heart rate, creates endorphins. It forces you to breathe. It gets you out of your head. It gets you sometimes out of your body. So movement. The one thing that you should stop doing is stop watching all the negative news. Now, that doesn't say stop being informed, because I see this a lot in the spiritual community and the personal development community. Like, you and I know, when you go to these conferences, you get around people, like-minded souls. They're great. Most of them have their heads in the sand, though. They don't know what's going on. They're always like, they're like, yeah, I stopped watching the news when Donald Trump got elected, or I stopped watching the news when Barack Obama got elected. That's not the answer, right? It's not the answer to get ill-informed. It's to stay informed, but find your news through better sources than cable news. The whole point of cable news is to keep you watching so they can sell advertising. I mean, we know this for a fact. So stop watching cable news and get your news some other way, either if you have an iPad or an iPhone through your news app, or if you have an Android through that news app, or pick some sort of intelligent magazines that are not so negative. Like I like reading The Atlantic, I like reading Time Magazine. And then I got to add one more thing. I'm sorry, I know you gave me two.
Do it.
When you're in your social media feeds and you're going through, don't believe everything you see and unfollow or unlike or hide the ads that promote fear. I'll give you an example for me. As a life coach, you and I know there are times when it's hard to get clients. Like our biggest fear is, where can I get more clients? Sometimes we struggle. We go through these periods where I don't have enough clients. And then we go into our social media feeds to see where we can improve in our marketing. And we come across these ads that where people are like, click on this, you see some guy who's like, I used to be a struggling coach and click on, but I became a successful life coach. You can too if you sign up for my program. That's like $3,000 and that's that fear. And you have to unfollow that stuff because that fear is going to kick in of, oh my God, do I need to sign up for this? Am I doing something wrong? What's wrong with me? Oh my God. And you get into that trap. So anytime you're in your social media feeds and you see stuff that triggers your insecurities and your negative thoughts, don't participate. Take control. Unfollow, hide, or delete that person. Only focus on those messages of uplifting positivity.
I have made unfollowing the negative and political and judging and angry friends a sport.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm down to like 15, seeing 15 different things on my Facebook, especially. And it's all positive, uplifting, innovative, things that we could do and just ways to we can be better. And it's been absolutely the most uplifting thing. It's amazing to me that someone that used to be a chef, before they closed down restaurants is now a COVID economic and political expert. It's just amazing to me how that's happening right now.
Well, I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with social media. I used to hate going on Facebook. I used to hate promoting myself on social media because what I was promoting was myself as a yoga teacher. And I hated the fact that I would go on Facebook or I'd go on Instagram and I either post a video or post myself in a pose that nobody can do that was sexually, physically, or like inviting. And it was everything against that I'm against in yoga. Yoga to me is a spiritual practice of mind, body, soul connection. It is not me wearing some sort of like short shorts with my shirt off, doing a pose and flexing my muscles. But as a life coach, I love doing social media because I love providing value and messaging and giving people actionable advice on ways to live their life more purposely. But at the same time, I know there's a dark side to this social media that even I get targeted. Like people know I'm a life coach. People go online and they'll place an ad and they can target life coaches, New Jersey, and then they can target my income. There's ways to do it. I mean, like I know how to do it myself, that then they can plug into my insecurities and my fears. And I can either sit there and be unconscious about it and be plagued by it. Or when I notice those triggers, I can go, wow, this ad's really triggering me in a bad way. Unfollow, hide. And then I don't see those messages anymore. And that's how you live consciously. We have to be aware of how things make us feel. We can't be on autopilot all the time. It's the essence of mindfulness.
Actually, I have a love-hate relationship with all things social media as well, but I've began loving it again because I just see so much great content. I see so much purity out there. I see so much goodness, love, and learnings. It's there if you look for it. Sometimes you have to look. It's interesting. We could literally put this out there. We could put Donald Trump sucks and Obama's great, or Obama sucks and Trump's great. We get 10 million likes and 10 million people that tells us we're crazy. And then if you put something positive, innovative, and motivating out there, it's like 8 likes. So, but there's
Right.
so much goodness out there. If you look for it, the goodness is there. 2 questions left for you, brother, and this has been amazing. Michael, what is just top of mind? What is one of the best pieces of advice someone else gave to you?
Oh, I got to think, because I've had so many good mentors in my life. I
Me
think
too.
that's why I'm where I'm at today, is the people I have, like,
Me too.
and every once in a while I get asked, how do I know this person? Like, I'm not like, how do I know this X famous life coach, X famous motivational speaker, or famous guru? And the advice that I was given, I think maybe when I was like 31, 32, I still to this day follow. You want to add value and service to the teacher. Meaning, if you want to find a mentor and you want to be mentored by someone who's really like a couple levels up than where you want to be in life, whether it's in your career or spiritually, and you want to get that attention from that person, you don't want to go to that person and ask for help. You want to go to that individual and you want to say, add value, you want to find some way of service. And through that service, then they will then give you that guidance that you're looking for. And that's how I know all these great mentors that have helped me along the way for free. I've had coaches that charge $5,000 for like 3 sessions help me in my life for free, because I did simple acts of service without asking for anything in return. And then they have volunteered their time to me without me even having to ask for it.
I love that advice. I'm gonna add on to it. A really good friend of mine, he's a best-selling author, advertising executive. He wrote The Millennial Whisperer.
Mm-hmm.
He says that each human being in the world, and he's actually writing a new book called Currency, that every single human being on earth, regardless if you think has something of value or a currency that they can give to another human being. So if there's a great coach or great mentor, or great artist, or someone that you look up to or inspired by, when you come to them with your currency and come from a place of service, come from a place of how can I make your life better in some way, they are 1,000 times more likely to help, serve, mentor you. Like you said, you've had some unbelievable great mentors and coaches in your life. And the flip side of that is something that I'm very cognizant of, because you and I both, I'm in the business mindset relationship coaching world. And so what I do is I provide advice and get the best out of people for a living, as do you, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't, what's an amateur move for all of us, and this is just something for us all to learn, is when you go to somebody and say, can I pick your brain? That is a, that is a taking mentality first.
Right.
It's an amateur move second. And it basically says, I want to use your currency for free and want to provide you nothing in return.
Right.
And the third thing is, I always, no matter who I meet, whether it's over a coffee or a Zoom meeting these days or whatever it is, I always ask, how can I help you and who can I introduce you to? And I mean it. And if I can't help them, I'll find someone who can. And the second thing is, I always want to leave someone better than I found them. And I think introductions are some of the best way to do that. So I love that. Final question for you, brother, and then we'll head out, because I just love talking to you. I talked to you for two hours solid.
Same.
But I have a client coming up here soon, so I've got to tend to their needs as well. What's got you excited, and what are you looking forward to in the future?
How much time do I have?
However long you want to take, brother.
So there are things that I've always wanted to get good at that I've never had the time over the last couple of years building my business as a coach and a yoga teacher. And I've been in this state of overworked, overbooked, and overwhelmed with little gaps of areas to improve my business, like 2 hours here, 2 hours there. So I've never really had the time to really fine tune and hone my business and really get my craft down. And this last 6 weeks has been great for me in the sense that I've had a lot of time to learn how to do things better, like creating actionable, powerful video vlogs for social media and starting a YouTube channel that actually has people subscribe to. Redoing my website where it looks like a pro did and figuring out how to really make my website look pro. Creating some really good signature coaching programs that I can actually market instead of just going around saying, I'm a life coach. I have had the time to write out like 8 coaching sessions for a particular problem. So I'm excited that I have the opportunity to really hone my business and really get it to a point where I can then, when things open up again, I'm not trying to constantly build. I can just focus on helping people and content creation.
So good. And so so Michael has basically said he's using this opportunity to work on his inner game, both as a human, but especially in business, is to hone in his skills, to work on his craft, to become more pro. And I think all of us, regardless of the situation we find ourselves in, can work on our inner games. We could choose to put our head in the sand and watch 80 hours of Netflix or whatever else people numb themselves with. There's a million different things.
Yep.
Or you can choose to focus on something that you want to be better at. Is it financial confidence? Is it building toward financial freedom? If it's just understanding how to do finances and money better, is it developing the craft in your business, producing better content, making yourself look like a pro or whatever it might be? This is just an amazing opportunity. And it goes back to choice, right? We can choose to do the deep work, to look within, to get better business, professionally, personally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it is we want to work on. And I think you and I, Michael, work on everything constantly. I think we're always seeking to improve or to become better in some way. But yeah, I think that's an amazing way to end. Is it's all about the choice. Are you going to choose to work on the inner game, both personally and professionally? Or are you going to choose to put your head in the sand and be a victim or a martyr or entitled or whatever negative adjective you want to throw out there? The choice is ultimately up to you. And I'll let you close us out, brother. Where can people find you? Where are you? And how can they see all this new goodness that you're putting out to the world, brother?
The best thing to do is just go to my website. That's where I always send everybody, yourwellnessyogi.com, because I'm a spiritual mindfulness and success coach that teaches both yoga philosophy and modern life coaching techniques. So yourwellnessyogi.com, everything's there. Don't judge it. Halfway through the website is like clean, new, professional, and the other half of the website is kind of schlocky. I'm still working on it. It takes a lot of work, but that's where you can find me.
Schlocky. What a great term that is. I love it. I love it. Well, brother, you're an inspiration to me. You're an inspiration to so many people. Thank you for coming on live with me today. This has been such an honor, brother, and I look forward to continuing this journey with you. And thank you for everything you do, Michael.
Tommy, nothing but love.
Yeah, same here, brother. Nothing but love. And in the words of the great yogis, namaste, my friend.
Namaste.